most of your morning this morning. Welcome in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal here for you to warm you up on a day like today and cool you down as well. They have all of their drinks. You could get them as you could get their chais, their teas, their coffees as iced or hot, and you could get them on the locations of 3501 James Street as well as 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse. You could get them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. And, of course, you can get them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners location, which is their drive-through location as well. So make sure you head out to Cafe Kubal today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way. And I appreciate everybody that's gone out there and had some awesome Cafe Kubal and enjoyed the flavors, enjoyed everything that comes to us locally from Cafe Kubal. So a big thanks to Cafe Kubal for all that you do in our community and beyond. And a big shout out to the fantastic team there that's led by Matt Goddard. So big thanks to everybody out there. Fill your cup up right today. And don't forget, folks, they have sandwiches, they have breakfast, they have treats all throughout the day. Their chocolate chip banana bread, fantastic, and their chocolate chip cookies. Those are probably my two favorite treats at Cafe Kubal. So many for you to enjoy. So make sure you go out there today and fill your cup up right. I have my travel thermos from Cafe Kubal. So not only am I drinking Cafe Kubal, but I'm always supporting and always got that. I got that thermos right here in the studio. So definitely big thanks to Cafe Kubal for all that they do, and thanks for having us earlier on in the week when we got to be there with Jason Leone, and very excited to support Oswego State and the Lakers and everything that they're doing on the men's basketball side of things and in general. So big ups to Oswego State. Very excited for the game that we have coming up here today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time inside of Max Zeal Gymnasium at Oswego for the SUNYAC tournament, which they are the number one seed and they are hosting. So a lot of great stuff here as we step forward on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You can see a jam-packed MonPazKettlecorn.com's What's Poppin'. There is so much here. I don't know if I've ever put this much. I probably have, but this much coming up here. The annoying moment of the week in just a second, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll jump into a conversation with LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball head coach Nate Champion to speak on the passing of Matt Bassett, former athletic director at LeMoyne, and of course to also speak about the playoffs in the NE10. Then we jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, where my co-host Juanita Ward will join me to speak on the topic of today, what is on the other side of fear. Then we'll jump into our top dogs of the week, or maybe top Bobcats of the week, and that's brought to you by K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Campground Dog Boarding at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll have a three-way call live with Clay Gagan Sherman, women's basketball head coach, and Dan Frisina, men's basketball head coach at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, where we found out yesterday, and I was in the room for both, finding out that each of these teams is heading to the national tournament with an opportunity to win a USCAA national championship. Both teams were selected in the selection show, and so Clay and Danny will be heading to Richmond, Virginia with their teams with an opportunity to win a national championship, which is amazing. And then we'll round out today's show with Pacer Pride, which always happens in hour number 2, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. For the first time ever, John Butash will be joining the show to tell his story about softball, the sport of softball, how the MLB lockout could be helping softball, coaching his daughter, and so much more, as well as why he chose Marywood and why he continues to choose Marywood. So we'll talk with John Butash about that. Immediately to the annoying moment of the week to make sure we get it in here, as Nate Champion is going to be joining us at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. So it's time for us to hop into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and don't let the cold weather fool you. They are open year-round, including today. So those same great flavors don't go away just because it's cold outside. Make sure you head out to Carvel DeWitt today and try the Orange Dream, my spin on an orange creamsicle as a sundae and shake form. Make sure you go out and get it today.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I'm really honest. I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. My annoying moment for this week, I would have to say, is, it's clearly it's the fact that we live in a world where we seemingly have not learned enough or learned what we should have learned, and that is the fact that there's been world wars and they have happened years upon years upon years ago, and decades ago, and yet we're sitting here this morning dealing with the threat of war, the threat of the United Nations having to band together to protect the world, to protect Ukraine. And I'm heartbroken at the fact that as human beings, we've been through a pandemic together. We have been through so much together. And a good morning to my mom. Happy you're home safe, Mom. But looking at this world the way that it is right now, we owe each other better. We do. And to know that we are in the threat of war, in the threat of nuclear conversation. And the thing about nuclear war that I find ridiculous is that if anybody sends it off, you don't win the war. We all lose. Nuclear war, obviously the initial effect and then the long-lasting effects of cancer and everything else that could come from it, to have to, hide in bunkers under the ground for how many years, and then those of us that live are going to have to repopulate the earth because it'll be like, I don't know, it'll be like a meteor hit the earth and like dinosaurs and whatnot. It's just ridiculous to me that we're even having a conversation this morning about the safety and security of the world because somebody has once again threatened that. And why? Russia is like 5,000 miles wide times a billion. It's just massive. It's like its own world. And, to me, it's not about Russia and it's not about, Ukraine. It is in the conversation that I'm having, but at the same time, it's about all of us. It's about every single one of us. It's about why hurt another person? Why take from another person? Why steal from another person? Why threaten another person? Why do we have to do this? And to me, this is when leadership has to step up. This is when people have to show their might. This is where people have to stand their ground. It's hard to be a leader. It's hard to be someone to, have to stand up against the big bad bully. But if you don't, who will? And that's the conversation that comes up. So this morning, my annoying moment of the week is the fact that we even have to have a conversation about the safety and security of the world, and that we even have to have a conversation about, tyrannical rule and somebody trying to take something over. So, I just pray and I hope with everything inside of me that nobody loses their life, that no one has to suffer within all of this. It's why can't we share? Why can't we be together? Why can't we love each other? Why can't we find a way to just support each other and be there for each other? And, why can't we all just get along? It's not a cliche to me. It's a reality to me. So I want better for us. I want better for the world. It's the annoying moment of the week because I can't even believe that we're sitting here talking about this after everything we've been through. It honestly feels like I'm living the beginning of World War II. And, when Hitler was like, hey, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take that, and then the world kind of watched and we're like, oh, he's going to stop eventually, and then he didn't, and then somebody had to do something about it. So, I pray for all of us. I pray for the safety, security, and wellness of everybody and happiness, and I just want us to be together. I really do. And I feel like we've been divided, and I feel like if we pay attention, we've been divided by forces that knew what they were doing. So please stay together. Please love each other. Please care about your neighbor. If not you, then who? And so let's all just be good and let's be together. In Jesus' most precious name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And whatever religion you choose to support and whatever it may be. I just pray and I hope that as I love you all and accept our differences, I pray that other people can do the same thing and we can move forward together. So my best to you, my safety, health, and happiness to you, and God bless you and all your loved ones now and forever. Amen. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. This has been your Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Let's be good to each other. We'll be back right after this fast break where sports meets life from inside the Cafe Kubal studios. I appreciate you so much for being here. And coming up next, we have Mr. Nate Champion.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt from inside the Cafe Kubal studios. We're to our next part of What's Poppin' Today, brought to you by Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com, and that is Mr. Nate Champion. Nate Champion joining the broadcast here of LeMoyne, no stranger to the broadcast, and his team is getting ready to tip off tonight as they start new life inside of the NE10 tournament. So let's bring in the LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball head coach, Nate Champion. Nate, how you doing today?
Good, Dan. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And Nate, you and I were talking about it off the air a little bit, but, you know, just what the message has been to the team as you step forward. You know, you've been through so much. You've had the adversity of COVID starts and stops and different things that have happened there that have affected your season. You've had to play a short amount, had a short amount of time in between games. You've dealt with injuries. So your team has kind of seen it all, and now they have an opportunity to control their own destiny. Just what the message has been.
Yeah, I mean, the message has been almost exactly that. Like, you've been through a lot. We're healthy. You know, we've been in every game that we've played. We just come up short a few times. And, you know, now everybody's 0-0, and it's a great opportunity for us to go on a run and make some noise in the NE10 tournament.
You know, and with everything that you've been through, how valuable is it that you had to, when you rescheduled games, having to play those games, you know, close proximity to one another? You know, with a tournament now, you deal with that and that's normal life for the tournament, having to have a quick turnaround. Do you believe that in some way the COVID pauses almost help your team in the fact that they had to play games in a short amount of break time in between. Does that help them in tournament time, knowing that that's exactly going to be the situation?
Yeah, I think it definitely does, and I think we've put our guys in a good position with a challenging schedule, and the NE10's obviously obviously a tough schedule as well, and I think we're battle tested and we have experience now, and we got to put that experience to use, and hopefully we go out and play at a high level tonight.
What have been the best things about this year's team, Nate? When you look at the squad that you have for the Dolphins, what are you most proud of and that you appreciate the most as you step into this new season?
I think just the resiliency of the team. Obviously, being at full strength at the beginning of the year and quickly going down, 3 of our top guys in the first 2 games, and then just battling injuries and COVID and all that stuff throughout the year, and us having to shuffle lineups around and all that. They have really shown a lot of resiliency, just fighting through those things and coming to work every day, trying to get better. And I think you're starting to see that in some of our guys, just the growth and maturity on the basketball court, and then off the court. They're just great kids and no issues at all. And I think that's one of the best things as a coach. You don't have to go to bed at night just hoping that you don't get a phone call. They're going to behave, and you trust them, so that's good.
And having a team that you can lean on and trust is extremely imperative. What you can say about Ben Swank and Speedy Frazier, you brought them on to the staff, and you and I got to speak with them going into the season and kind of what the vision and the mission was, just what they've done to help be an extension of you as a head coach for this team.
I think they've just done a great job of bringing in a ton of experience and new ideas and different ideas, and just being there with the team and developing guys and doing workouts and scouting reports, and the dirty work that nobody sees behind the scenes is something that's so valuable to someone like me as a head coach. And those guys have done a tremendous job this year. This year wouldn't have gone the way it has if it wasn't for those guys.
That coming here from Nate Champion, the head coach of the LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball squad. Nate, to step aside from this for a second, we found out this week of the passing of Matt Bassett, former athletics director at LeMoyne, done a ton of work, obviously responsible for bringing in people like yourself and giving opportunity here. He's assembled such a team that has been at LeMoyne for a long time, and hired a lot of the coaches that are currently there. Just what you could say about Matt's memory and just your thoughts and your feelings at this point.
Well, first off, and the condolences go to the Bassett family. Hopefully they can get through these tough times together. And I know Matt just as a person, and knowing him through playing, and also in my time in the hiring process here and after college, it was always a real pleasure to speak with Matt and understand his leadership style and his leadership ability in such a unique way. And it's a tremendous loss to the LeMoyne community. He did so much for LeMoyne and has taken LeMoyne to such a higher place. And when I got back to LeMoyne as the head coach, you could just see all the groundwork and the structure that he put in, whether it's the new facilities, the inside the L culture, all that stuff is just through Matt Bassett, and you can tell that he just took us to new heights. And it's a really, really tragic loss. It's something that really hits home for me, and being that my first year at school, I got to know Matt pretty well, and him helping me out after I graduated, like he did so many other people. And it's really hard to put into words just how much he meant to the school, and how big of a loss it actually is.
That coming here this morning from Nate Champion, and Nate, I'm sorry for your loss, because I know that Matt meant a lot to you in a lot of different ways, and obviously, like you said, playing at LeMoyne, going through the process of becoming the head coach and becoming the head coach. So how does his legacy live on, in your opinion?
I think you see it every single day in the LeMoyne athletics community. Whether it's, the new LeMoyne way, which originated from inside the L, whether it's just the way that the athletics program is successful and how he set it up to be successful and gave us great opportunities as a department to just be successful on a day in and day out basis. And I think the big thing with Matt was, he let the coaches coach, and I think you see just how successful that makes the athletic program. And his leadership style was unique, and it goes to show you don't have to do leadership the same way over and over. There's different ways to do it, and he just cared about everybody, and that's I think you see that in the LeMoyne athletic department now, just the genuine care for each program and through the coaches and the staff. And I think that all roots from Matt Bassett and what he did here at LeMoyne and how he just changed the way we do things. So you see it every day, and the LeMoyne athletic department is not successful overnight. A lot of that has to do with Matt Bassett.
That coming here from LeMoyne Dolphins men's basketball head coach Nate Champion this morning, as we remember Matt Bassett and as we get excited for what is to come. I know that Matt's watching over. He's got the best seat in the house, hoping that you win. And game coming up here, LeMoyne on the road in Massachusetts, going up against Stonehill in the first round of the NE10 tournament for men's basketball at Stonehill College in Northeastern Massachusetts. And that'll be happening February 25th today at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can go to LeMoyneDolphins.com to watch, listen, and grab live stats. And, of course, I'll be connected with it as well. Nate, I can only say this, simply put as this: go win one for Matt.
No doubt. Well, I appreciate it, Dan, and that's going to be the goal tonight. Go get one for Matt, and hopefully we go on a little bit of a run here. Appreciate it having me on. Absolutely.
Well, stay safe, take care, and, while you're there, you got to get some lobster. I mean, you're in Massachusetts, so you're going to have to get something that's Massachusetts related and give me a reason to use my accent. So head out to get some good food, or at least go to Wahlburgers, because I like that too.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
All right, take care and be safe.
Thanks, man.
See you. Bye. That coming from Nate Champion once again here on Wahlburgers and some lobster and some Dunkin' Donuts. So make sure you go out there and enjoy that when you're there today. I appreciate, as always, the fact that I've had the incredible opportunity to speak with Nate Champion over his time at LeMoyne, and so excited, so young in his career, that we'll have plenty more to talk about as time goes by. So a lot of great stuff coming up here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Always appreciate you being here. Always appreciate you hanging out with us here. And we will take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Miss Juanita Ward as we bring you Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. That is the acronym that I, by the grace of God, somehow came up with, and I thank God for it every day. Coming up with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. All of the great things that are within this come to you every Friday around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. The topic of today is what is on the other side of fear. We'll talk about that with Juanita Ward right after this, where sports meets life, from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Thank you for being here. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in their community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life, as we are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, Cafe Kubal 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location in North Syracuse, and of course on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. Make sure you get out there to Cafe Kubal. Coffee for the soul. They have coffee, they have chais, they have teas. I love the chais, the spices and the syrups, everything made here. Fantastic. I put mint in my chai. I put the French toast flavor, vanilla, caramel, whatever they have. Sometimes I mix and match and I throw a bunch of stuff in there just because I can't help myself. So make sure you go out there today to Cafe Kubal and warm yourself up, folks. Get that heat going there and get out to Cafe Kubal. It is an awesome co-pilot to have your cup and, of course, to buy your travel mug of Cafe Kubal so you can keep it with you all the time. So make sure you go out there today to any one of their locations. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you. With that being said, speaking about being sent, that God works in beautiful ways, and there's something about the fact that lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, the next piece here inside of Monpaz Popcorn.com's What's Poppin', that we have lead, and that it was something that was just put on my heart, given to me from God, The acronym Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. It happened right before COVID hit, and there's no coincidences in my life. I call them God incidences. And so, for me to have this be here with us and to be able to celebrate every single week faith and God and learning together, evolving together, ad-libbing, the ability to be able to change things up because life never truly goes 100% the way we want it to, sometimes not even 10% the way we want it to, and deliver, right? When we make a promise, we have to keep it. So that delivery part, that last part that I think gets overlooked a lot, that's an imperative part, right? We have to deliver on our promises. So we expect God to deliver on His, we need to deliver on ours as well. So with that being said, inside a lead, I am so grateful to have my co-host, as always, Miss Juanita Ward. She's been with me for years now, doing this since the beginning of it all. And that is because when I wanted to do this segment, and I spoke with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, I said, we're all about faith. Jim Sikowski, fantastic person. I continue to pray that God will heal him in all ways, shapes, and forms. And as we were making, kind of the plan of all of this, I said, I couldn't think of anybody better than Juanita to do this. She talks about her faith. She's unapologetic about it. She's a fantastic human being. She's excited to talk about God. And I don't know many people that have been so devout in being so faith-focused and God-centric and just willing to put it out there into the world without any apology. So, to me, there wasn't anybody better than Juanita, and I'm so happy that she's with us all the time. She's had me on her show. You can never stop believing, and definitely understand that if you follow Juanita on any one of her social media platforms, she has an incredible story to tell, and she shares other people's stories as well. So today, my sister joins me again. She's taller than me, but I'm older. It never made sense to me how that works. But Juanita Ward is here with us today in lead, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Juanita, how you doing?
Hey, Dan. How's it going? Man, you didn't have to say that I'm taller, bro. That was so awesome. Man, I'm so excited to be here, man. I'm so excited to, every single week bring something amazing and awesome. I just love how, the Holy Spirit works and how God works throughout the week, and different things that, we need to really motivate and encourage people on. And I heard your words, man. And unapologetic is absolutely awesome, because that's how we're supposed to be for God, because He was unapologetic in sending His Son, Jesus, here to die on the cross for us. He was unapologetic and, allowing His Son to go through all of the bangs and the bruises that He was able to go through. And my thing is this: if somebody can get beat to an unknown face or to an unknown description, I'm going to go extremely hard for that person, because I don't know one person on this earth that would do that, what Jesus did for us. And so we have the right, we have the freedom, we have the opportunity to, glorify and lift up the name of Jesus, because He died for us so that we could be set free, so that we could, live a life with no bondage, with no captivity, with no chains, with being sin free, and the only thing that He's asking us to do is to trust Him, to obey, and to love Him. Everything else, He says, I'll teach you. I'll give you everything else. I'll give you wisdom. I'll give you knowledge. I'll give you understanding. And then the icing on the cake, I'm going to give you favor, because you trust me. I mean, what does a father do for their children? A father gives correction. A father gives discipline. A father gives a whole bunch of love. And most importantly, a father shows that they care. And when they care, they give you things. And so you're right, man, unapologetic about who I love and who I stand for, and that's the Lord Jesus Christ.
And I love what you just said, because it made me think about this. What does a parent give? Correction and direction, right? Correction of our ways, correction of our path, and direction on where to head next. So, I'm going to keep that with me. Correction and direction is what God brings to us. And when we talk about correcting a path and directing a path, what lies on the other side of fear? You talk about it all the time, that fear is false evidence appearing real. And I always tell people, I said, listen, When you're afraid, fear is the last thing that evil uses to stop you. It's that last element, right? You've come all the way, you've ran the entire race, you're about to cross the finish line, you can see the tape, and then all of a sudden something jumps out in front of you to scare you and stop you and tell you, you can't get by me. And whether that is our own, mental kind of fighting with ourselves, or something happens in life, or somebody writes something on social media, or somebody tries a roadblock, there are roadblocks set up by evil. And that's when they know, okay, this person's about to level up. This person's about to get to God. This person's about to get farther. This person's about to get ahead. What is on the other side of fear? And on the other side of fear is greatness. On the other side of fear is God. On the other side of fear is positivity. On the other side of fear is our dreams and our hopes and our goals. On the other side of fear is God's favor. On the other side of fear is favor. Trade an F for an F. On the other side of fear is favor. And I feel like if we paid attention to that and focused on that, we wouldn't be shaking in our willies over here, and we'd be finding a way to get on the other side of it.
And that is so true. I try sometime to really ask the question, why do people fear? Why do we fear so much? Why do we have so many opportunities where we get the chance to fear? And so I think about it from this perspective. The word says in 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us the spirit of fear. It says, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. He has given us the spirit of power. He's given us the spirit of love. He's given us the spirit of sound mind and self-discipline. And sometimes when a person cannot understand their identity, they don't know who they are in Christ Jesus. When they have not accepted who they are in Christ Jesus, they don't know the powers that they have, because fear is false evidence appearing real. That's true. And then you have faith. Faith is the substance. Faith is sustainable. Faith is substance. Faith is sustainable. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When I can hope for something, knowing that when I get what I have hoped for, I'm going to be sustained and I'm going to have substance. With fear, you don't have that. You have doubt. You have insecurities. You have, unawareness of different things. But with faith, you know that you are going to have substance and stability with what you are believing for, what you are hoping for, because your confidence has grown in your faith. The reality is this: do people stop to just be grateful for the small things? Because if we can be grateful in the small things, when we get the big things, we will be so much more thankful for the big things, because it's taught us lessons in it. And here, and to be quite honest, as the word says in Ephesians chapter 6, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, which means you're wrestling with something inside someone that's trying to affect you so that you don't know who you are. A robber never comes to a house or to a opportunity to get nothing. When a robber comes, the robber's trying to take everything that it needs, that it wants. That's what the enemy does. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but God said that he comes to give life and give it to us more abundantly. So whatever we think about, whatever we allow ourselves to think about, that is what we will digest. That is what we will eat. And once you eat that, that means that you have it's an impartation and you believe it. You're starting to digest it. Now it's starting to intertwine with you because you have accepted something that is not your identity. Nobody in this world name is fear. Nobody came to this world and the mom or the guardian or whomever told them, hey, your name is fear. The father told them, hey, your name is fear. Nobody came into the world saying that. Nobody came, not one doctor, not one nurse. When that baby was popped out, not one of them said, oh, hello, fear. No. They said, oh, it's a boy. Oh, it's a girl. Just beautiful. Oh, he's so handsome. Oh, he's strong. Oh, she is gorgeous. See, words are so important because whatever words you have, whatever words you speak, you're going to eat those words, you're going to digest those words, and then you're going to regurgitate those words. And then because you have ate those words, digested those words, now your body and your mind is being transformed to believe what you say. So don't speak fear, speak faith, because whatever you speak, you shall have.
Yeah, and and that last line that you just said, Juanita, whatever you speak, you shall have. Right? People talk about it all the time, speak it into existence. You could speak negativity into existence, you could speak positivity into existence. It's what you say, it's what you focus on, it's what you focus your energy on. And you talk about it all the time, what's within the tongue. And so, what's on the other side of fear? What is on the other side of what makes us uncomfortable? So many people, I would reason that everybody has a dream, everybody has a hope, everybody has a goal. I would find it hard to believe that somebody goes their entire life without any dreams, without any hopes, without any goals. So why do people not chase them? Why do people not believe in them? Why do people not assert themselves? Why do people not move forward? Fear. I talk about it all the time that, Juanita, you and I like a football team. Or you know what? You play basketball. Let's talk basketball. So basketball, there's 10 players on the court at any given time. There could be 19,000, 30,000 people in the seats, right? 30,000 people in the seats. You played at Syracuse. 30,000 people in the dome. 30,000 people watching. 10 playing. That is such a small and tiny fraction. The 10 that are playing are the ones that got on the other side of fear and kept going. 30,000 watching, I liken that to the people that watched it, got to a certain point, and stopped. Am I saying that means that all fans don't? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's an analogy of life. There are so many people in life that watch people chase their dreams, watch people go up against fear and win and get beyond it. So many people comment on people that are chasing their dreams, but how few of us actually chase them? How few of us actually go after it? Folks, it's not easy to go after what you want. You're not going to find your wife or your husband by half doing it, by kind of trying, by kind of putting out your best foot forward. You're not going to reach your dreams by doing good work some of the time, by making a couple good connections, but by burning all the other bridges. You're not going to get where you want to go in life by kind of, sort of, maybe, sometimes trying to do it. You got to go all in. You have to believe. This is what drives me every single day. When God calls me home, I don't want to say, whoa, I got other stuff I got to do. I didn't fix this. I didn't finish this. I need to. No. If I can make a list today and say, here are all the things that I haven't done that I have to do before I go, if I haven't done them, then I need to get working. I don't care if I take one step toward it. I don't care if I do a little bit toward it. I don't care if my thing is I got to clean up my office and today I just clean a corner. If I can make a list today of things that I would not want to leave undone, then I need to do them. Fear prevents you from becoming who God made you to be. Like Juanita said, nobody was born with the name of fear. Nobody said, oh, that's a beautiful baby, Fear. Oh, what a sweet Fear. That's not who we are. It's something that was created in this world to make us disband from each other, dislike each other, not go after what we want. Fear is the thing that separates us from who we are and who we should be, who we can be, who God's meant for us to be. Fear stands between who we are today and what we can become tomorrow. There is nothing I tell people all the time, there is nobody that stands in my way except for me. Nobody. Don't you listen to these shows? No. Don't you worry about? No. Well, what if this? No. I'm working so hard at my dreams, I don't have time to worry about what is this and what is this and what is this and what is this. If I listen, with the time that I don't have, I try to play with Lily when I have a moment to myself. I try to go to lunch with my mom, call my dad. I try to do things that are positive. And I find that when you work really hard at your dreams, you got to be really purposeful with the time that you have. What's on the other side of fear? Everything that I've gotten to do. Everything that I've become. God has been so gracious to take a man who is sweating and crying and screaming and frustrated and scared and help to turn me into somebody who is more calm, more peaceful, more hopeful, more faithful. I believe in this world, and every time this world lets me down, I don't stop believing in this world. I'm understanding God a little bit more every day because no matter how bad it seems to get, I focus on the good and the people I surround myself with and the blessing of doing what I love and loving what I do and just having God in my life. I wake up every single day saying, God, there's a million prayers I have, but I trust you. But I love you. But I believe in you. When you level up, when you get to the other side of fear, when you get around it, when you walk into that alley and you got, evil standing there going, whoa, 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 whoa. Right on the other side, right over the shoulder, if you peek just a little bit, God's standing there with a gift in his hand saying, son, daughter, come to me. Come to me. Fear is a figment of your imagination. I am reality. Fear is something that you materialize through your own worries and doubts. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. If you follow me, I will give you rest. Juanita, if we want to get on the other side of fear, all we got to start doing is getting down on our knees, saying a prayer, and going after what we want in life. It's not that hard to get on the other side of fear. Fear only has the power that you give it. Stop giving it power, and it fails to exist. God will always be there. All you have to do is say, Dad, I haven't talked to you in a while. Or, Dad, I talked to you 5 minutes ago. Can I have a hug? Can I have some love? Can you be here? It's amazing how we create fear against the Creator that created us. We create fear against the Creator that created us. Maybe we should trust the creation to Him and let Him do it.
It's when we try to talk it out, we have to be careful in the words that we speak. Because in the words that we speak, whatever we give power to, whatever we continuously speak, that's what we believe, that's what we have. So if we keep speaking the same negative thing, thinking that we're going to get a better solution, that's insane. You cannot continue to speak the same thing, stay in the same cycle, thinking that the cycle is going to change and you're going to get a better outcome. You have to completely change the way you talk, change the way you think, change the words that you continuously say every single day. When you start to speak positivity, you gain positivity. It is truly that simple. I dare people, and I say this all the time, I dare you to go into the mirror and speak to yourself. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I will succeed. Look yourself in the eyes, like literally in the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and say, I will succeed. Dan, I'm telling you, so many people cannot look themselves in the mirror because they are ashamed of what they see on the other side. But here's what we have to do. We have to stop being ashamed of who we are and know that God sits up high and He looks down low. God is also to the left of us, and He's also to the right of us. He's also in the front of us, and He's also behind us because He's omnipresent, which means He's everywhere. He's never not around. He's always around. Even if we go to Timbuktu, He's there with us because He said it in His word. And here's the ultimate, if you will, truth, right? God said that He'll never leave you nor forsake you, which means He will always be there. We just have to trust and believe. Got to get rid of self-pity. Got to get rid of, self-doubting. Speak positivity. People ask me all the time, why are you so happy all the time? Why are you so excited? Why are you so joyful? Like, why are you always on 10 with your excitement and joy? Dan, this is me 24/7 every single day, in the good and in the bad. I try to find good in every situation, because whatever I give power to, which means if the problem becomes bigger than my belief, now the problem wins. So why talk the problem thinking that I'm going to get the solution? I'm wasting more time talking the problem instead of talking the solution. When the sea was raging and the winds were going crazy, when Peter and all of his friends were on the boat and Jesus was underneath the boat sleeping, when the sea was going crazy, the waves going crazy, the storm was out of control, everybody that was on the boat besides Jesus, everybody else, not Jesus, he was under the boat on the bottom level, sleep. But everybody that was on the top level that was able to see the storm was going crazy. They go down to Jesus and they say, Jesus, wake up. Wake up. Don't you feel what's going on around us? Can't you see what's going on around us? Jesus is down there asleep peacefully. He wakes up. He goes to the top deck. He says to the storm, he says to the sea, he says to the wind, peace, be still. Peace, be still. And then he turns to Peter and all of the other guys that was on the boat. And he said, ye of little faith. Which means, why give power into something that you have the power over? We can speak to whatever storm is in our way. We can do that. But you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
You got to know that you have the power. As I stated before in 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And in some translations, self-discipline. You have to accept Jesus Christ into your life. And once you accept him into your life, then therefore you accept the gift of the Holy Spirit, according to Acts chapter 2, verse 38. When you know the truth, you can speak the truth confidently and boldly, because that's what Joshua tells us. The Bible says God told Joshua, fear not, for I have commanded you to be bold and courageous. That's the same thing that God is speaking to us today. Fear not, for I have commanded you. God has commanded us to be bold and courageous and to fear not. It is a command for us not to fear. Read Joshua 1. When you know the truth sets you free. When you believe the truth sets you free. But when you try to argue the truth keeps you in the argument of the truth. The arguing of the truth keeps you in condemnation. Yeah. But when you know the truth, you are set free. You cannot speak the truth and still live the same life. That's called insanity. You cannot want change, want a different opportunity, and still live the same way, still think the same way. That's insanity. If you want change, if you believe in change, you as the person, you as the individual have to change your ways. You gotta get knowledge, you gotta get understanding, because the word says this: my people perish for a lack of knowledge. It's simple. Gain truth. And when you gain truth, be humble. but be bold and courageous in your faith, knowing that you trust this big God. There is absolutely no other God that has walked on water. There's no other person that has healed the sick and raised the dead. There is no other person that has died for us on the cross. Not one other person. So when you argue the truth, you're being in condemnation. But when you know the truth and you walk in love and you walk in your power and you walk in your fearless boldness, your courageousness, you're walking in the power that God has given you. Because he's told you, you have to believe it. You have to trust it. If you want to get out of a situation, get into a relationship with God. And I mean a real relationship. The one that you talk to him every single day. We can talk all of this stuff all day long. We can come up with all of these philosophy tips. We can come up with all of these different ways of man-made of how to get out of this and how to get out of that. We can hit all of these denominations and we can hit all of these different things to tell us how to get out of different things. We can hear all of the man-made opinions, but the word is the word and it is set in stone. It will not change. The Bible is the top-rated book in the world. Because everybody want to know the power. But the reality is this. When you have that power in your hand, you got to do something with it. You got to eat it so that it can transform you. You have to digest it so that it can cleanse you from the inside. Everybody want to take all of these vitamins and all of these pills to clean the digestive system. The most important pill, the most important vitamin, the most important thing is getting the word on the inside of you. Because the word cleanses you. According to 1 Peter 2:24, by Jesus' stripes, we are healed. You got to believe it. When you look yourself in the mirror, you got to say, I will succeed. What you're saying to yourself is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. For I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. Whatever you believe will control your mind, your body, and your soul. I choose to believe the word so that I can be enlightened, enriched, and empowered. Yes, we have situations that happen every single day. Yes, life happens to all of us. Nobody is perfect. Yeah. Absolutely not one person is perfect. Yes, things happen every single day. But guess what? It's about how you're going to respond to it according to the truth that you know. Peace, be still to every storm. Speak the words that give life to the situation, not words that spark the situation. I choose to speak faith all the time. I give fear no power. So I speak faith because what I'm hoping for, I know that the evidence of it is sustainable.
That coming from Juanita Ward. Speak faith, not fear. Faith over fear, something that we talk about all the time, and something that has to be a daily move by you, a daily choice, before it becomes and then it'll become a habit, and then once it's a habit, it's part of your life. Faith over fear. Choose faith today. Choose faith. Don't fear. Fear don't get you anywhere. Just hurt you more. Fear keeps you in a prison that you have the key to unlock yourself. Fear keeps you in a prison that you have the key to unlock yourself. Faith makes you fly. Faith brings you above it. Juanita, as always, I appreciate you. I thank you so much for all that you do. Love you, sis, and I can't wait to talk with you soon. Please stay safe, Stay healthy and stay faithful. I'll talk with you in just a little bit.
God bless, man.
God bless. Take care. That coming from Juanita Ward here, where sports meets that thing called life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We will take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around, I want to thank Juanita once again for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. An amazing story of faith comes up today on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and a segment we do here on Wake Up Call called The Light Between Us. Ariel tells her story. You don't want to miss it. Coming off of this conversation, an incredible extension of that. Do not miss a moment of that. Do not miss a moment of what's coming up next as well. And choose faith over fear. You have the key to unlock the dungeon you put yourself in when you are afraid. Remember that. Remember that. Stay strong and stay faithful, everybody. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, our top dogs of the week join the show, or top Bobcats for this week. Clay Gagan Sherman, Dan Frisina, both of their teams advancing to the national tournament for Division I of USC AA. I cannot wait to have the conversation with these gentlemen right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt. You're watching and listening live every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on Facebook in two places, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/livenowdt as well. And, of course, you're listening to internet streaming radio all throughout the world on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt and on wakeupcalldt.com. I'm excited, as always, to bring you the top dog of the week. And, of course, my dog Lily is the one that helps out with this. Top dog of the week this week. I guess Alex Grigorita said to me, he was like, top cats of the week? I mean, maybe top Bobcats is what we can call it here. But top dog of the week brought to you by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street, right by Erie Boulevard. They're there for your short and long-term care for your furry-loving friend. No matter what the size of the dog, happy to have them there at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding. A fantastic place to help you have peace of mind when you're renovating your house or going out of town or whatever it may be, to make sure your dog is taken care of by an extension of the family, led by an incredible crew with Lorraine Perry and the team. So big shout out to Lorraine and everybody over there, Heather, Chad, and everyone that helps us have peace of mind with our pets. So thank you so much for that. Top dog of the week today is top dogs of the week. And that is because I have two. I couldn't choose this week. I had to give it up to both because I think of them both the same in a way that I appreciate and respect them so very much. I've gotten to speak with both of them when they started their programs, and to now be a piece of everything we get to do with Bryant Stratton College in Syracuse. Dan Frisina, the men's basketball head coach who started the program. Clay Sherman, the women's basketball head coach who started the program, both at Bryant Stratton College with the Bobcats here in Syracuse. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to go to a selection show unlike any selection show I've ever been to, and that's because I got to see people I consider friends and people I respect be in a room with their team as they awaited the opportunity to go to the national tournament. I wasn't worried. They can tell you this. I wasn't worried. I didn't really have a lot of nerves. I believe they both deserve to get there, and they both did. So excited that Bryant Stratton's men's basketball and women's basketball teams will be advancing to their national tournaments. And with that being said, my two top dogs of the week are two coaches that are fantastic in this community, awesome people, very hardworking, and if you saw how they spoke with their team yesterday, they care incredibly much about the people that they surround themselves with. Danny, Clay, congratulations. You are the top Bobcats of the week.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dan. It was quite the introduction.
Yeah, Danny, what do you think about that introduction? Did I miss anything? Was there an accolade that I should throw out there?
No, I thought it was perfect. Thank you.
And so, Danny, a part of the reason why I felt the need to do this is that you told me you were trying to find your words yesterday in the moment and that you needed some time to gather them. So now that you've had a night to sleep on the fact that your team is heading to the national tournament that you fought so hard to get to, have you gathered those thoughts, and what are those thoughts and feelings?
Yeah, I mean, I think the general feeling yesterday that I had, it still remains. I'm just really happy for our guys, our team, and the hard work that they put in. But what I really wanted to, after sitting around thinking about it and getting a bunch of congratulations from other coaches in the area and former players and all that. I really wanted one of the feelings that I got when we got the nomination and the bid to the USCA tournament was, some of the players that I coached at Bryant Stratton in previous years that aren't on the team anymore. I mean, because they really kind of laid the foundation for the program and helped get this whole thing started. So, I got a lot of congratulations from some of my former players that aren't here. Obviously, Xavier Norgby, he's my assistant coach. He was one of those players that was here when the program got started, and he was like, oh man, he's like, I wish I was a player on this team. It's so much fun. He goes, but I'm, super excited that I get to be a coach and be along for the ride. And then there was a couple other guys that had reached out that helped get this program started, and we aren't where we are today. And I'm not where I am as a coach today, if not for the previous teams that I've coached. So, and that includes the year stint that I spent up at OCC under Dave Paziak, and the couple of years that I spent with the SUNY Oswego women's team under Tracy Bruno. And then, coaches that I've had in the past, whether it be at summer camps or when I was on the middle school team, or, just coaches and teammates that I've had throughout my career, and it kind of formed who I am as a coach now. Coach Paziak reached out to me yesterday, and I told him that there's been, over the last 4 years as me being a head coach, there's been a lot of what would Coach P do situations that have gotten me through the last 4 years up until this point. So there's just been a lot of people that have helped get us to this point that I wanted to acknowledge. And after sitting around and thinking about it, I could put those words together.
And Danny, I mean, Dave Paziak is a friend of mine, somebody that I've known for over a decade now, and he's out in Vermont doing his own thing. Such a caring guy, such an amazing person, such a hardworking individual, a real person, someone who, tells you what he feels and what he's thinking. And I can't say enough about Dave Paziak. And Tracy Bruno, someone who I got to talk with when I came back to Central and Upstate New York from being down in Orlando and being on ESPN down there and starting my business here, speaking with Tracy at Oswego State with the women's basketball team and all the incredible things that she did, and being completely floored when she stepped away, because I just, to me, I couldn't picture Oswego without her. So what can you say? I know you talked a little bit about Dave there, but the impacts that Dave Paziak and Tracy Bruno have had on your life.
Well, when I first moved back home from college, this was, close to a little over 10 years ago, about 10 years ago or so. I had, I'd always had an interest in coaching up until the college point. I graduated. I didn't really have anything on my resume that would support me being able to apply for a college job. And I met Tracy actually through a family member at a summer cookout, and I found out that she was the women's coach, and she found out my interest in coaching, and she said, hey, if you're interested, we could always use a helping hand at practice and an extra set of eyes. I can't pay you, anything, or I can't give you compensation, but we can give you the experience and all that. And I was totally on board. Luckily, I was able to have a job at that point, which granted me the opportunity to be able to travel from Syracuse up to Oswego every day for practice and go on the road for their games and be, kind of a full-time part of their squad. And it allowed me to kind of get my feet wet into college coaching. But even up until that point, from when I graduated from OCC up until that point, I had spent the summers working for Dave at summer basketball camps where obviously, I do a lot of coaching and teaching with the little guys there. And both of them have had a huge impact on my life. And when I left Oswego, there weren't many job opportunities out there for me that I would have left Oswego for. But when Dave came and said that there was a position on his bench at OCC, and obviously having played at OCC and played at OCC for Dave, and having a really good relationship with him, it was something that I really couldn't turn down. So, it was a great opportunity at Oswego, and then the opportunity at OCC came, and to get back up on the hill there and be able to coach the men's side of things again. And, even though the stint there was short, it left a lasting impact. And I kind of knew from there that, the next step would be trying to get a head coaching job. And the lessons learned that I've learned from both those coaches have carried me forward here.
That coming from Danny Frisina here with us, the men's basketball head coach at Bryant Stratton College. Women's basketball, Clay Gagan Sherman here with us as well on this three-way call as we honor them as the top dogs of the week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Clay, who do you want to give thanks to as your team steps to the national tournament?
Definitely the first people I would thank are my family. My wife and my daughter, Kate. She's just been my biggest supporter, my biggest believer since, before I even started coaching. She's the one that pushed me to, pursue a career in something I'm passionate about. And she believes in me every step of the way, and I wouldn't be here without her. And then my parents, Kate's parents, Kevin and Kelly, my parents, Cindy and Gary, my sister, just all of my family. They've just been there every step of the way. They watch our games. They, when we talk about, usually when I'm talking about my family or my team or what's going on and, the next steps and building it up and taking it in the right direction. So definitely my family, big time. Our athletic directors, Nick Dimitrievsky and Alex Grigorita, for, all the lessons they've taught me, giving me the opportunity to come in and start my program and, showing me the ropes from day one on how to recruit, how to recruit not just a team, but a talented team that has the opportunity to do what we're doing now, to be nationally competitive. So, thanks to those guys for all their lessons. And kind of like Danny said, a lot of my former coaches, I grew up playing soccer, and I went to SUNY Plattsburgh and played for Chris Waterbury, who was a fantastic coach, but he actually coached me throughout my childhood as well. And, we just had a great relationship, and he's just one of the best, funniest, nicest guys you'll ever meet. And then also Tom Curl and Cameron Conover, who were the men's basketball coaches at Plattsburgh in my time there when I was a manager. They both really inspired me to pursue coaching basketball. Coach Cam helped me get my first opportunity to get some real experience in the industry when he helped me get an opportunity to work at Hoop Group for 9 weeks. And that Hoop Group experience really kind of changed my perspective on it. It was like, wow, I can really do this. This is amazing. And then my first head coaching job at Shazy Central School, I'd like to thank Brian Norcross. He gave me an opportunity. He was the athletic director up there, and he just, same thing. He just believed in me full-heartedly, kind of gave me the reins and backed me and supported me every step of the way as well. And, from there it kind of blossomed. So, yeah, a lot of people to give thanks for. I'm just super grateful that, I have this opportunity, and, I work at Bryant Stratton and, have a great family there.
That coming from Clay Gagan Sherman. Clay, I want to stay with you, and then Danny, feel free to jump in as well right after. Just, the experience with this team, the teams that you have this year, your squad. I know that you guys were there for each other. Clay, you were at Danny's selection show. Danny, you were at Clay's. And, just having love for each other's teams and respect and appreciation for one another. Just what you can say, Clay, to start things off about what it meant to you to be able to have that speech with your team after finding out that you had been selected to be in the national tournament. And then Danny, same thing, just, what was going through your body when you got to talk with your team as well. So Clay, I'll start with you.
Yeah, it was a special moment, man. That this is our goal for the regular season, is to get here and to get the opportunity to play in the postseason and compete for a national tournament or a national championship. And, just having this opportunity every step of the way, all the work we put in, all the game film we watch, every single practice, every single sprint, every single possession throughout the course of the season is to get us where we are now. and to see the girls excited and kind of just enjoy, the fact that they earned this. Like, you could see it on their faces. Like, they were just so just excited, and to see them happy and, ready for what's next. It's just so special. And for me, every step of the way with every single one of our student athletes, we're talking about this tournament. And for that to come true, again, our second consecutive time getting into the national tournament, it just proves that, we are setting the foundation to do this year in and year out. Our first time we were the 8th seed, now we're the 4th seed. And, it's exciting because we're expecting to go there and win games. We're expecting to go there and truly compete for some hardware. So I was just amped up and I'm just ready to go. Like, I'm like Alex mentioned, I'm laser focused. I'm ready to prepare. We're watching film already on our matchup against St. Mary of the Woods, and we're just getting ready. I'm just super focused right now.
And Danny, your thoughts?
Yeah, so after we received the bid, I was asked to say a few words, and I was kind of in the same mode as I was with you yesterday. It was like I didn't really know what to say to my team. That wouldn't sound like inauthentic or phony. Some coaches are like, oh, no, we don't want to talk about the tournament, and we don't want to jinx it, and we don't want to do this or that. And then, from the beginning of the year, our first team meeting, I told them, our main goal is to make the tournament. I never shied away from that. So then when we got the bid yesterday, it was like a sigh of relief that, our season-long goal had been achieved. And then it was a realization that our goals just got a lot bigger. We celebrated yesterday that we achieved the goal. And that was a season-long goal. And now our next goal is a week away, and it's, 3 games in 4 days away from being, national champions. So, we know what's ahead of us. And I just told our guys, it's focus season now. It's lock-in season. It's, whatever you have going on outside of basketball, with the exception of school, you just have to sacrifice it for the next couple weeks and only focus on what we have to do to become the best in the country. And, that's what, that's where our focus is going to be. We have a couple games this weekend up in Buffalo against some of the other Bryant Stratton teams. And that's good because they're good competition. And obviously Buffalo and Albany are also in the tournament, so it's going to be good competition leading into the tournament. But we got to make sure that we come away with that healthy and focused really going into next week on what our ultimate goal is. And that's what my message to them was, is just to remain focused and don't get us in a situation where we're not ready to go come Richmond.
On the road to Richmond, both of these teams, Bryant and Stratton College of Syracuse, men's basketball and women's basketball, both selected to be in the USCAA Division I National Tournament. Only 8 teams get selected, and Bryant and Stratton in both the men's and women's basketball tournament brackets. Danny, in closing, going to you first and then you, Clay. I mean, obviously you guys love the sport of basketball, and you grew up with it and grew up around it. Danny, you played, and I know how much it means to you to connect with the sport of basketball. Did you ever see this moment? Did you ever dream of this moment that you could be coaching a team that had an opportunity to win a national championship?
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's when I was hired for this job, I was a handful of years younger and much, much more naive. And so I thought, I was going to be the head coach and we were going to go to the national tournament my first year. Obviously, my first couple of years were humbling, and, but I never, thought that, my goal from the beginning was to get this this program at this school in a position where they're going to be competing for national titles, because I saw the trophies from the soccer team, and I knew immediately it was possible. The standard had been set, so there was no reason for me to shy away from that. I when I got hired, it was like, all right, here we go. Let's put together a squad that's going to go to the tournament. And once you're in the tournament, then you have a chance. So, I always, you could call it overconfidence or cocky or whatever. But, when we get in between those lines, I don't see anybody that we have to be afraid of or shy away from or be intimidated by, because, the way I prepare our team and the way that we practice and the standard that we set in those practices is something that prepares us for championship level basketball. So, to answer the question, once I decided to become a coach and assistant coach, it was to be great and make sure that the ultimate goal is going to be reached, and that's putting ourselves in a position to win. And I guess the answer would be yes, from even when I was little all the way up. I kind of had that dream in mind, and you watch your favorite teams growing up. My favorite teams were the Bills and the Knicks and the Yankees. So I saw the Yankees win a bunch. I saw the Bills go to a couple Super Bowls, and the Knicks, I saw them go to the finals. The only team I actually saw from my favorite team raise the trophy of the Syracuse Orangemen with Melo and a bunch of Yankees titles, and I always pictured myself being able to do that as the head coach or as a player, and just be able to celebrate. So that's that mindset is kind of where it all goes, and I've always wanted to be a champion with guys, surrounding myself with a team that I enjoy, and this is a unique and fun team, and I would love nothing more than to win a championship with these guys.
Coming from Danny Frisina, speaking on the championship mentality and holding on to the belief ever since he was a child to get to this moment, and now that moment has an opportunity to be realized. Clay, your thoughts on this? Becoming a head coach, did you have this feeling, have this belief? Did you grow up thinking that you would be playing in a national tournament? Bring me into young Clay and what the aspirations were, and did you see this happening for you? And have you held on to this dream for a long time?
Absolutely. Everything that I've ever been a part of, I've always tried to be the absolute best at it. I'm super competitive in most things, especially sports. That's why, I wanted to coach after my playing career was over. I'm so competitive, and I love winning, and I love everything that goes into winning. Just kind of going into my younger days when I was a high school athlete. We won a sectional championship in basketball my senior year at Willsboro Central School, small class D school in upstate New York. And that was the first championship that our school had won in a decade. So that was an amazing experience, just to win a championship with, we're a small school, so everyone on that team was my best friend. So all of us kind of coming together and, winning a championship, it's still such a special memory. And then when I went to Plattsburgh to play soccer, my sophomore year, we won the SUNYAC conference championship, which was, again, just another amazing memory. With some of, again, my best friends in the world at the time, and still super close with a lot of them. And believe it or not, we were actually the 4th seed in the SUNYAC championship. So hopefully we got some good luck with that number. But again, it's winning a championship is just so special. It's something you'll remember forever. And to have an opportunity to be on the coaching side of it, because we're in this for more than just winning games. We're in this to see our kids have great experiences, and just to know that you have an opportunity, for a team to accomplish that team goal. And, winning a couple of championships in my younger days and them still being such big parts of, of my memories. It's just for them to, just to think for them to have that memory and how special that will be for them if it happens it's everything. It's just so exciting and, so special. And then just in terms of, just the opportunity again, coming into Bryant Stratton, like Danny mentioned, the standards have been set. Soccer's been winning for a long time. Our women's team just won their first national championship. So we knew from day one it was definitely possible to get it done, taking the advice from our athletic directors. And, for us getting to the national tournament in year one, we're like, okay, let's go. We're 3 games away in our first season in program history. Like, we're not going backwards from that. We're going to make sure we keep going forwards. And, that's what we've done this year. We have a way better record. We have a deeper team. We have a better seed in the tournament. And now it's about just being prepared, winning 1 game at a time, and, cutting down that net. That's since like early in our recruiting this year, months ago, I changed my iPad background to just, a coach's hand cutting down the first string on a net. And that's what I've been visualizing for a long time, because that's my goal. I want to win a national championship with this team. I want to be the leader of it, and I want to experience that special moment with my kids, with my team. And again, it's something we'll remember for the rest of our life. So that's why it's going to be so special if we get it done. But 1 game at a time. We got St. Mary's of the Woods first. It's about getting prepared and taking them down and getting momentum in the tournament.
That coming from Clay Gagan Sherman and Dan Frisina, heading off to the national tournament, USCAA Division I for women's and men's basketball, respectively. Both teams of Bryant Stratton, Syracuse, the Bobcats, advancing and being selected in the selection show. Final piece here, Danny, I'll start with you. You had a moment there with Clay, congratulating each other. What do you want to say about Clay? What should the world know about Clay Gagan Sherman, in the words of Dan Frisina?
I mean, he's a young coach, but he knows what it takes to win, and he's going to do everything in his power to make sure he's getting his team in the prepared the right way. We bounce ideas off of each other, and he's helped me out a lot. And he's a tireless worker. He's a great motivator. He's super energetic. I like working with him because of that. Anytime that I get frustrated or down, he can kind of pick me up, and I hope that I'm able to do the same for him. But he's just, you're never going to catch him unprepared. He's always ready to go, and he's never going to shy away from competition. So I have the utmost respect for him, and I'm glad that we're able to travel down there with him. I traveled down there with him last time, but I didn't have a team with me. I'm happy that our guys are going to be able to support their women's team, and their women's team be able to support our team. It's going to be a pretty unique experience. I think there's only a handful of other, not even a handful, there's only a couple other teams that are going to be able to do that. So, but yeah, we're really excited, and I'm glad that, I'm on this journey with Clay going down to Richmond.
Clay, words that the world needs to know. What does the world need to know about Dan Frisina?
Well, first of all, he is just a great leader of the men on his team. Like, he loves his guys. Like, outside of basketball, just life in general, you see him day in and day out. Just, he has his guys back through and through. And, that's why I believe he's such a successful coach. And this team has really came together this year. Like, he's just there for them. He pushes them. He knows how to motivate them. And they know it. Like, they know it 100% that Dan has every single one of those players back. Whether they're playing a single minute a game, whether they're scoring a point a game, whether they're scoring 30 points a game, he loves them all the same. And, that team, he's the heart of that team and the leader, and he does a fantastic job. And, just yesterday, like, I was in the room during their selection show, and I was just so happy for him. I was so nervous for him. I felt like I was definitely nervous for our team, but when I was in there watching them, I felt like I got so hot. I had to take my jacket off and stuff. I was just so happy for Dan, because he's worked hard to continuously recruit and to build this program and to get them to the national tournament, and to see himself just kind of take in that moment and see his team see him celebrate with his team. It was so special, and just so deserving. And I'm just really happy for Dan. I'm really happy for the men that they're going to go down there, and I'm excited to watch them play, because they are super talented, and they're going to make some noise in the tournament.
That coming from Clay Gagan Sherman and Dan Frisina. Moving forward in the tournament nationally, USCAA Division I women's and men's basketball tournament. Our top dogs of the week. Very proud of Bryant Stratton College in Syracuse. Danny, Clay, you know I'm in your corner. You know I'm here all the way through and hoping that nothing but the best for you. Couldn't have happened to two better people, and I am ecstatic about the opportunity that is set in front of you and your teams. So God bless. As always, travel safe. Obviously, we'll be in touch throughout. We got some more specials and different things coming up, and we'll continue to do that. But I'm so proud of you both. I'm happy for you, and I'm just so grateful that this happened for the both of you. You get to celebrate this together. And, you know, Syracuse, New York needs to understand that no matter what, there's two incredible people and incredible teams that are going to be representing them very well down in Richmond, Virginia. So thank you, gentlemen, for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, take care of yourselves. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Take care.
Later.
See you. That coming from our top dogs of the week, Clay Gagan Sherman and Dan Frisina. Both of their teams heading off into the national tournament for the USCAA, which is a creation and organization there for smaller colleges and college basketball here. There's a Division I and a Division II. Both Bryant and Stratton Syracuse women's basketball and Bryant and Stratton and Syracuse men's basketball inside of Division I, and they will be heading to the national tournament with an opportunity to hoist a trophy as national champions. Both Danny and Clay's team both selected to be one of 8 in the national tournament. God bless them both. God bless their teams, and awesome to be around their teams. So many great things coming up. You can check out my specials with them by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. You can also go to wakeupcalldt.com and click on the BSCSYR page, which stands for Bryant and Stratton College, Syracuse. And, of course, you can also go to Facebook at wakeupcalldt, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT for my conversations with both of these gentlemen. And there's plenty more coming up that I saved for today, so make sure that you're paying attention to those as well. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When Wake Up Call comes back, we'll have the opportunity to share with you our Pacer Pride moment as we celebrate the Pacers softball team with head coach John Butash speaking on so many different pieces, including having his 4 daughters, coaching his daughter Diana at Marywood when he was an assistant coach, winning a CSAC championship, and so much more, including why he continues to coach, why is he here, what is it about Marywood, what invigorates him, and what does he think of the Atlantic East Conference, as well as what is baseball, Major League Baseball, doing to help softball accidentally right now. So a lot of great stuff coming up with John Butash right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. From inside the Cafe Kubal studios, Pacer Pride comes to you next, right here on Wake Up Call.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can find all of their fantastic homemade breads and desserts, as well as their brick oven pizzas and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski, as well as salads, quinoa bowls, and rice bowls ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds. The Millhouse Market is such a fantastic way to give back to the community, and they give back every day in their general store with local products from local companies that you can buy, as well as having their indoor dining bistro menu that changes every single week, so you can have a new experience at the Millhouse Market. And of course, their drive-through window where you can grab your food and go. Download their app today by going to the Millhouse Market app on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and once you have that at your fingertips, you will have the opportunity to order from them so easily on the Millhouse Market app with all of their menu right there for you, as well as a section there where you can get a map of directions from wherever you are to the Millhouse Market. Keeping it simple, keeping it easy, and keeping us going there and supporting local. The Millhouse Market, once you try their food once, you'll be coming back for the rest of your life. 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every single time. Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's very special Pacer Pride here for you inside of our Cafe Kubal studios. I am honored and privileged, as always, to be here with the Marywood Pacers, and Pacer Pride is the opportunity for us to bring you something truly unique and special with the student athletes, coaches, and administration of Marywood University in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. It is my honor and my privilege to have here spotlighting softball today with head coach John Butash. John, how you doing today?
Good, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And John, just, what you can say about why you fell in love with the sport of softball and just maybe where it all began for you.
Well, I was a baseball player in college at the University of Scranton. But I actually had some involvement with coaching girls softball when I was like 18, 19 years old, in the really infancy of girls softball in our area.
Special.
I remember it being a league of ages 9 through 15, one league with basically a hard ball with a soft cover on it, not a big softball. And actually, with some of my friends, we coached softball because I had a younger sister who played, and I got involved there. And then I thought I probably would end up being a baseball coach. I'm a retired school teacher. But I had 4 daughters. And so having 4 daughters, softball became a really big part of my life. My daughters were all athletic, and they all played softball, among other things. And so, I've been around softball for many, many years.
Yeah, and like you said, you thought you'd be coaching baseball. You thought that would be the direction that you would go. You've had such a history with softball, and it's been such a big part of your life for decades now. Looking at from 1990 to 2010, being a volunteer softball coach with the Troop Booster Club, and just bringing me back to that. I mean, we're here in 2022. So we're looking at more than 30 years ago, more than 3 decades in connection to softball. Just what you think about that and going back to 1990.
Well, number one, softball has come a long way. Back in the early 90s, when I started coaching my daughters and their teams, there was no windmill allowed. The pitcher would just rear back and throw. They couldn't windmill the ball. There was no stealing of bases. It was just a basic game. And as the years went by, the game developed, and it became even like similar to boys. Boys always had stealing. The girls, it took a while for equality to come in, but then it became just a similar rules, if you will, as to baseball. And so Little League softball was big, along with ASA softball.
And like you said, the changes that have come, that the windmill wasn't there before, and stealing and whatnot. What can you say about what those two specific additions have done for the game?
Well, they've made it a more exciting game. They've made it more of a real game, if you will. It was always lacking that, I always say with 4 daughters, you're always looking for females to have the same opportunities as males and be able to play a game that has similar rules. Obviously, it's a little different than baseball, but it just brought it along to the point where now softball is off the charts in terms of popularity in our country and around the world. If you look even this past week on TV, ESPN covered, they probably had 20, 25 softball games on this past weekend. And they get good, and it gets big ratings. It's a quick game.
Yeah.
Your typical softball game is maybe an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes compared to baseball, which I love baseball, but we know in baseball, a game can go on for 3.5 to 4 hours sometimes.
Yeah. And when you see, and even now as we're here with a stoppage in baseball, obviously it's not good. Nobody hopes for there to be a lockout or a strike. How does this aid softball, though? How is it almost maybe a blessing in disguise that, here's softball doing what it does, and like you said, getting out there, getting good ratings, being a quick game, and now with all the issues surrounding Major League Baseball, how much does that maybe even put more of a spotlight on softball?
Well, it definitely does. And, because I'm around softball so much with my team, with my fellow coaches, with other coaches in the area, and we're all really, softball's the thing. So we're into the softball season now with the games on TV. And of course, we're getting ready for our season. And I'm a baseball fanatic. I'm a Yankee fanatic. I go way back with the Yankees. And I definitely, we'll start feeling as we get closer to April with no baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, softball everything revolves around softball right now. It's very excited to get started soon.
For someone who has never watched a game, for someone who's never played it or been around it, why should they give softball a chance? What would you say to someone who's coming to the door and they've never walked through the door?
Well, softball is a quick game. It moves along. There's a lot of action. For the most part, your pitchers have really good control. So you're not having walk after walk or 10 pitch at bats, most likely. The game moves along. I think that's probably the main thing. With a lot of action, the defense is paramount in terms of how well you're going to play. Hitters have gotten so good at the softball level. Back years ago, you'd have a pitcher dominate and strike out 15 to 17, 18 in a game. Now, even at the D1 level, at those very strong teams, they may strike out 6 or 7, maybe. So you're talking about 14, 15 outs that have to be made in the field. And at our level, at Marywood, for example, we count on our defense. Our pitchers are outstanding, but we're going to have to make 16, 17 outs in the field. So defense is big. And again, the game moves quickly, and it's a lot of fun.
And having this, game, like you said, moving quickly, being a lot of fun, and just what it's done for you, how has it improved your life off the field? How has being a softball coach enriched your life?
Well, the obvious answer is with my 4 daughters and all the coaching I did. At one point, I was coaching 3 teams because they're all different levels. And in our little town of Troop, we had teams that maybe at 3 or 4 different levels. And, you get parents that want to help out, but I was very much invested. So I would schedule games with all 3 teams that my daughters were playing on and coach them all. But again, it just was a family event, if you will. And they were involved in many other things besides softball. So I felt like I had the best of both worlds with my daughters, because they were dancers and they were softball players and basketball players, and there was a lot going on. So again, just brought if possible, brought the family even closer together with all the shared moments of good times and struggles and all that comes along with sports.
That coming here in this edition of Pacer Pride on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with John Butash, the head coach of the softball team at Marywood University. You came to Marywood University and were first an assistant before taking over. Just what you can say coming into Marywood in 2014, what brought you to the Pacers?
Well, it started with my daughter Diana played softball here. She graduated in 14. So in her during her first 3 years as part of the Marywood softball team, I was involved. I would drive for the team in Florida on our spring trip. I never missed a game. I would, I don't want to say I was a helicopter parent, but I was around, keeping my distance, but I was very much involved in it. So when the assistant coach in 2013-14 decided to retire, basically just applied for the job. And after going through the interview process and all that, I was fortunate enough from Dr. Gunning to get hired as the assistant softball coach in 14. Now that was my daughter's senior year. And of course, I first wanted to get her approval, because sometimes it's difficult. You're going to have your dad as one of your coaches. But she was all for it. And it ended up working out tremendously, because we won the CSAC at the time championship in her senior year and went on to the NCAA tournament. So it was a great way for her to finish her career at Marywood, and a great way for me to start my coaching career.
So who do you think is more responsible for getting to the NCAA tournament that year, you or your daughter?
Well, I will brag about her. She was the MVP of the team that year.
Yeah.
And she was a really good softball player. But again, it was a team effort, and we had a really strong team. And it's a bond that will never be broken now. We won that championship, and that team, to this day, they can always call themselves as champions and Marywood softball champions. And so that's our goal. From that time, we're still trying to get back there. We've been the number 1 seed a couple of times in the playoffs, but we haven't been able to get over the hump and get back to that championship. So again, that's one of the goals of the softball team.
And you coming in 2014 in the senior year for your daughter, as she's finishing up, you're starting. How perfect of a moment was that for you to not only be the dad that's driving the bus and the dad that's helping out and the dad that's at the games, but to be a part of the staff and to be able to celebrate that? Parents celebrate with their kids all the time, but very rarely does a parent get to celebrate with their kids, right there on a field, because you're a part of the same team wearing the same logo. It's a rarity that you get to see a parent and a child celebrate something as both members of a team. So just what that moment means to you, and if there truly was a more perfect moment.
I could honestly say that probably was not a more perfect moment in terms of athletics, in terms of my children. And every one of my children had special moments in athletics, but this was definitely really special. And I'll brag again a little bit about her. She, in my first year as an assistant coach, that 2014 season, our head coach, Bob Fitzsimmons, who was really a legendary coach here, coached for many years the softball team. And one of our first doubleheaders at Immaculata, he was not able to attend because he basically had the flu.
Yeah.
And so here I was basically being the head coach, and it was only my second game back from Florida. And I got to the athletic center, and they said, Bob's not going to be able to make it today. So I became in charge. So we went down to Immaculata, and on our first game, the doubleheader, we were up 2-0 in the 7th inning, 3 outs from victory. And with 2 outs and 2 on base, a young lady hit a walk-off homer to beat us in the first game of the doubleheader. So the second game, now between games, of course, you give a little talk to the team talking about now we're going to see what we're made of after what happened. It was a heartbreaker. And of course, I'm coaching third base, which I hadn't coached third base for my daughter since she was in rec league, maybe 5-6 years before that. Well, basically, she hit 3 home runs in the second game, and in her career at Marywood, she hit 4 home runs. And the one previously was an inside the park home run. So in her whole career, 4 years, she only hit 3 homers. They were all in the same game at Immaculata. And they were actually in 3 consecutive innings. And I didn't even know that till after the game. We ended up winning the game like maybe 12-6 or something. And so we got on we look back at it and like, what an amazing, amazing moment, because again, father-daughter, and I'm coaching third. I hadn't coached third since she was in rec league. And here I am, and she's rounding third base every time. And it was just it was amazing. We still talk about it. That it was just a highlight. And then again, from the team perspective, what happened that year, we became a special team that we advanced all the way and won our championship. So it was, again, 14 we still talk about it, all the time.
In advancing to the NCAA tournament, just how beautiful that is. And I mean, in any D1, D2, D3, doesn't matter to get to the NCAA tournament. And just what you can say about, the amount of teams that are around the country and maybe the makeup or the format of the NCAA tournament, maybe how difficult it is to get in, because I don't think people always pay attention to, they just look, did you get in, did you not get in? But they don't look at maybe how difficult it is or how many teams get in or, how much space is there for the amount of teams. And I just had a conversation with a D3 basketball coach about how the fact is there's over 400 men's basketball teams in D3 and there's 60 some odd spots. So over 300 teams don't make it every year. So just what you can say about, the makeup of the NCAA tournament for softball at the D3 level, and at the same time, just, your experience of being a part of that.
Well, there's approximately 330 to 350 Division III softball teams. And the softball tournament right now, I believe, has 32 teams. And there's many automatic qualifiers. If you win your conference, basically you're get an automatic bid. And that only leaves about 6 at-large bids. And so as a school like Marywood at our conference, you need to win the conference to get that automatic bid. You're not going to get an at-large bid, most likely. So it's very, very challenging. So it's all about trying to win the conference. With the new conference, didn't even have an automatic bid for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
And now we have it. And so we're thrilled that we have that. And again, we're hoping to, do some good things over the next year or two. We have with the team that we have.
Well, and I think, and I mean, you just described it with, somewhere around maybe 350 teams, 32 make it as a 10th of the country. Extremely hard, 6, like you said, at large. And, when the Atlantic East was formed as a new conference, you had to give up that automatic qualifier. Now that you have it, just what that means for that to be in play. I mean, you take over in 2018 as the head coach, and you've had to navigate a new conference. Just what it means to you about the fact that, if you do win, you do control your own destiny now, and you don't have to wait for the penalty to leave anymore.
Right. There's no one left on our team from our championship year, so they don't even know what it feels like.
Yeah.
But again, it's an amazing accomplishment to get that far, because again, we play in a very strong softball conference. The Atlantic East softball is very, very strong. When the Colonial States Athletic Conference, the CSAC, when we were there, and then we broke off, and now it became the Atlantic East, and there were 12 teams in the CSAC. Well, again, that's all sports, but in terms of softball, honestly, the top 6 softball teams all became Atlantic East members. Historically, they were the strongest teams. So it really, there's not a weak link in the conference. So it's challenging, but I know what it feels like, and I'm just hoping we can reach that.
Speaking here with John Butash, the head coach of the softball team at Marywood University, in this edition of Pacer Pride, inside of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership between Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and Marywood University's Pacers. John, for you to look, like you said, trying to get back there, navigating this thing, navigating the fact that you give up 2 years because you start a new conference and Marywood becomes a founding member of the Atlantic East. On top of all of that, in 2020, the spring 2020 season was canceled March 13th, 2020, due to COVID-19. You have had to endure a lot. This team has had to endure a lot. And like you said, getting a CSAC championship and going to the NCAA tournament was a great feeling. And there's no one left on the team that knows what that feels like. But the players on this team do know what it feels like to go through a pandemic, to have a season canceled. And, some obviously know, like yourself, what it's like to have to wait for the penalty of starting a new conference. So there's been a lot of adversity that really has nothing to do with your play on the field. How have you handled that as a coach?
Well, I think one thing that helps me is my age. I'm not young. I'm just starting my career as a coach. I was fortunate enough to become the head coach here after I retired from school teaching, and it's an ideal, perfect, setup for me. And so I basically I feel I kind of don't panic under the situation, just try to navigate through as best I can. Our 2020 season, when everything hit, we went to Florida for our spring trip, all excited about our season. And by the time we got to near the end of the week, we knew that our season was going to be over when we got back. So we actually, with the help of some wonderful parents down there and our captains and rest of the team, we had senior day in Florida. So we went down with the idea of starting a season, trying to have a really successful season. And like I said, by the end of the week, we were honoring our seniors on the field. So it was bittersweet. And that was 2020. And then last year, we didn't have Florida because of COVID, but we did end up playing 17 games. Now we're allowed to play 40 at Division III level at NCAA. So we didn't have Florida, but we did get to play 17 games, although we had two 14-day COVID breaks within those 17 games. So it really was a very interesting and challenging season. But I think with strong captains and just the kind of student athlete that comes to Marywood, we were able to stay together and navigate all the ups and downs. A lot of downs, but there are also a lot of ups, a lot of fun. And I think what the students and coaches were able to get from this was to appreciate even more the opportunity to be on the softball field and to play a game they love, and for us to coach a game that we love and not take anything for granted. So that with those COVID breaks, we knew that when we went to play a doubleheader, that we didn't know if this was going to be our last doubleheader of the season or not. But we were going to take every pitch, every game, every moment and just savor it and enjoy it. And again, it gave you a deeper appreciation of things you do have, and you could have fun with.
I think that's been such a huge thing, is to not only appreciate what maybe we didn't appreciate before or appreciate it more, but to remember to appreciate it. Now that things are back to more of a normal schedule, now that we're back busy again, now that I'm running around, you're running around, to remember what was it that we maybe appreciated more during this? What are the things we did more? Did we talk to family? Did we reach out to more people? Did we make more phone calls? Did we take walks? Did we listen to music? Did we watch our favorite show? Did we spend more time with our dogs? Did we spend more time with our kids? The reality of it's kind of twofold. Did we learn something during the pandemic, and did we keep that lesson? It's one thing to learn something, and it's another thing on whether or not we continue to learn that. So do you think you learned anything during this pandemic? And secondly, whatever you did learn, do you still put it in practice today?
Well, sure. And I'm repeating myself, but you just learn to appreciate every day and appreciate the opportunities that you do have, not only on the softball field, but with family, with friends, being able to get out, and do things that we were kind of prohibited from doing for a while. And those lessons are, and again, we've all learned them, whether it's coaches, players, just human beings. We've learned to navigate, and I think we come out the other side stronger. If we sit back and think about the things that we've been through, I think history books are going to look back at this time and generations from now and say, wow. And as we live through it, maybe sometimes you don't think about it that way, but it's going to be something that's, it's going to be an important part of the history of the world, basically.
Yeah, I'm sure there's practices you wish could have gone better. There's games you wish could have gone better, but there's something to be said about when you finally got to step back on the field after the season got canceled in March of 2020, when you got to step back onto the field and you got to feel that again, and you got to look around and hopefully see the sun, and the rays coming down on the field itself. When you had that moment of, we're here, I can take a deep breath and smell the air, I can look around and get a feel for this, I'm seeing the bats, I'm seeing the helmets, I'm seeing the jerseys. When that moment happened, what went through you at that moment when you finally got to come back?
Yeah, just an appreciation for it. An appreciation to know that nothing's guaranteed in life, and that you savor the moment. You look at it and say, well, this is great. This is, wow, we're back.
Do you have a favorite moment as a head coach at Marywood at this point? I know we talked about, CSAC and being an assistant and what you were able to do there and go to the NCAA tournament and having a CSAC championship. Since you took over in 2018, do you have a moment that you can say is one of your finest at this point?
Well, we've had a lot of ups and downs. In 3 years, we had a full season the first year that I was the head coach, and we took the champ Newman we had a scoreless game in playoffs, the 7 innings. We lost an extra innings, so that was a close call there. The last couple of years have been, really truncated, if you will. We had one young lady on our team, Samantha Baltrasitis, who did something last year that is phenomenal. We were playing Newman. No, I'm going to take it back. We were playing Gwen and Mercy here at Marywood. And in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs, she had a walk-off grand slam. We were down 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. But as a team, we knew that it wasn't just Sam. The other young ladies had to get on base first, or it wouldn't have mattered. So it was a team effort to get that walk-off grand slam. Then we had a 2-week COVID break immediately after that. And then within a week from then, we went down to Newman to play them. We were in the 7th inning. Now this is top of the 7th with the visiting team. We're down to our last out. And Sam Baltrasitis had a grand slam to win another game. She had 2 grand slams in the 7th inning with 2 outs to win games like never saw before in the history. I've been around baseball and softball for a long, long time. Never saw anything like it. They did a really nice write-up about her in the local newspaper, that was phenomenal. Other things that have happened. Now, again, I'm going to go back to when I was an assistant coach. We had Caitlin Epler led the country in triples. NCAA, 340 softball teams. She led the country in triples. And Annie Han, who was a 5th-year senior this year, won the NCAA award a few years ago, 107 plate appearances without striking out. So we're talking over 300 schools. We're talking over, let's say, 5,000 softball players. Yeah. And we've had 2 individual award winners in NCAA over the last so many years. So, again, it's not an individual sport, but these are just a couple of things that have happened over the last so many years that we're like, wow, it's great. And again, we're trying to get that to the team now. We want the team to get the award. We had the 2014. Now we're want to get that again. But yeah, there's been some moments like with individual players, but I think more importantly is when you talk to a student athlete about the A they got on their nutrition class grade, or they went to a lab in their PA program and they just did very well on an exam. That's where the really important stuff is. What we do here is I have my student athletes send me a goal every week, an academic goal, along with a softball goal on a weekly basis. And then, because I always emphasize goal setting, and that it's important to set that goal. Because if you don't set the goal, you may not think about it as much. But when you have that goal set, now that gives you an incentive to try to reach that goal on a weekly basis. So again, we balance academic with athletics, and really you're truly a student first. And again, that's what we look at. So the academic goal is the most important thing. So when we do our, get our end of the year team GPA, for example, Well, a few years ago, we were 7th in the country softball team GPA, and we were also 8th in the country batting average the following year. So it's like the best of both worlds. But again, it's not easy. It's something that we push, and again, academics first. I tell our student athletes, no one is going to care when you have your resume what your batting average was.
Yeah.
Or how many wins you had as a pitcher. But when you can show that you had a GPA of 3 point whatever and all the other academic accomplishments you have, that's more important. Now, an employer does like that you had competed at it on a team sport in college, because they know that you understand teamwork, you understand budgeting your time, and all those good things that come with it. So employers definitely look at that and understand that you understand structure, you understand working together with others. So that's the way we kind of look at it. That's kind of our philosophy.
I love the fact that you said you have your players send you weekly goals. Not monthly goals, not yearly goals, but weekly goals that every single week in softball and in the classroom that they send you, hey, this is my goal in the classroom. This is my goal with the team. What made you institute something like that? Did a coach do that for you? Did you see somebody else do that? Was it just something that you felt was right from your teaching days and moments? How did you come up with the idea of every single week, I want everybody on this team to tell me what their goal is in the classroom and what their goal is on the field?
I think most of it probably comes from my teaching background. Okay. And goal setting with my students in the classroom. And I believe it probably developed recently or within the last few years with one of my students probably came to me and said that they're hoping to get a certain grade on they have a big test this week and they're hoping to get an A or B, whatever it was. And it got me thinking that, it'd probably be a good idea to, do this team-wide, and have a goal set. And what I typically will do is midweek, I will reach out to each of them. And we do the goals, we don't do the goals as a group. They send me them individually. It's not something we're talking with each other, like, in case they don't make their goal or they don't want to, that kind of thing. So it's a private thing. Yeah. And then I will reach out midweek and just say, how are you doing towards your goal? Are you reaching your goal? Are you trying your best? And if they don't reach their goal, that's fine, as long as they tried their best. Now, how about this week? What are you going to try this week? And so whether a student sends me I'm hoping to get a B on my test this week. I'm hoping to get a head start on my research paper. I'm hoping to get my journal done by Wednesday as opposed to Friday. And again, it's just setting those goals to me, it's just very important. We set goals for our softball team. We set goals for what we hope to accomplish on the practice field with our team. And our student athletes, again, we're just setting goals. And the softball goals are important too, because sometimes they may not verbalize what they need to work on. We try to work with them and they may tell us something in a goal that we weren't aware of. I need to work more on my backhand, on ground balls in the backhand. Now we work on them, but also they need to think, let's work more with her on that. So even things like that. But again, academics first, and those goals are the most important.
John Butash here with us, the head coach of the softball team at Marywood University for the Pacers in this edition of Pacer Pride. John, before I let you go here, we've got to talk about a lot of different things, and it's been incredible, and I appreciate so very much that we've had the opportunity to really get to know this sport and to get to know your background about it. What can you say about the challenge of this season? What do you see from your team this season? What's the makeup of this specific team? And I know you said a lot of respect for the Atlantic East and who is within this. So we look at Cabrini, Centenary, Gwynedd Mercy, Immaculata, Marymount, Newman, and of course Marywood. So what is it about this year's team? How would you describe this year's team? And just what you can say about the talent of the Atlantic East to get a little bit deeper. As you said, the teams that formed this conference obviously came with a lot of success on the softball field.
Right. Well, I think the main thing with COVID and things have kind of settled down a little bit right now, our captains have done a really good job over the off season of team bonding. Okay. They've done a lot of things together, because you only go as far as you as a team as if your team is together, if your team is working together towards a common goal. So it was really an emphasis, because with COVID, you ended up being a little scattered because you weren't able to be together as much as a team. Yeah. So they've really emphasized, again, we chose some captains we felt were good leaders, And with their ability to get the bonding, we've been practicing, and the team really is together. Practices have been in a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of effort. They work hard. They want to improve. And I think one of the main things is they're very coachable. Sometimes you get to 19, 20, 21 years old, and my history has been that some might think, well, they know everything. They're gonna just show you what they have. But with my assistant coaches, Brian Serafinko and John DiMatteo, who are really good technicians of the game, hitting wise, fielding wise, our young ladies want to be coached. They want to improve. If they don't have a good batting practice session, they will go to one of the coaches. What do you see? What can I improve on? Let's go over to the tee, and they'll take them over to the tee and work on whatever it might be. So it's a collaborative effort with the coaches, with the players buying in, and we're all just excited for the fact that we're hoping to have a normal season, yes. and that's the goal. I have a young lady that's a PA major, so she can only play 3 years because of her major. Yeah. Well, her first year was 8 games. Her second year was 17 games. This is her last year. So we just wanted her to be able to enjoy it, have a season. So things like that. Every individual on the team has something that is led them to this point where now we're ready to, as a team, be together and just enjoy each other's company, enjoy winning together, go through the battles, lose some games, but understand learn from the loss. How can we get better for next time? So really, we're excited. We're going to Florida a week from Sunday, and we're like counting the days. We're ready to go.
And I think that's such a beautiful thing that, like you said, to individually look at one of your players and say, hey, I just want her to have a normal season. I want her to be able to enjoy it and to celebrate it. You sound excited. You were excited with your 4 daughters. You were excited to coach one of your daughters here at Marywood, and everything that Diana did and everything that you got to have with that. To celebrate all of that is wonderful, and to have that history is wonderful. But I got to ask you, John, what makes you come back? What keeps you energized and excited and wanting to be the head softball coach of Marywood University? What is your why?
Well, I love the game, and our student athletes keep me young. They keep me going. I look forward to practice. I look forward to every day I spend with them, and with my assistant coaches. I want to do this as long as I can. Like I said, I'm a retired teacher, so I have the time. And I just love it. I love the game. I love the competition. I love more than anything is when our student athletes graduate, and then I hear from them a year later, 2 years later, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Birthday, things like that. Then you know that in some little way you've touched their lives in some way. Maybe not in a major way, but there's a part of them that didn't forget. And again, same with me. I mean, I'm texting them also, and wishing them a happy birthday or a Merry Christmas. But that's the part of it that's the most fulfilling, that you're touching people's lives. Again, maybe just a little bit, but there is something they're going to remember. Because I remember my baseball coach in high school, my baseball coach in college. I mean, they had an effect on me in my maturation, just going through life. And you learn life lessons on the field and that kind of thing. So it's just fun.
Final point here, recruiting-wise, I look at your roster, a lot of Pennsylvania. There's New York and New Jersey recruiting here in the Northeast. What can you say about the recruiting footprint that you have, and just what excites you about recruiting for the softball team?
I think right now we have a great balance between local and out-of-town student athletes. Our area is a hotbed for softball. It really is. And for a few years there, that most were going away. But I think part of it might be with COVID, but more we're staying home. So we have a strong group of local athletes to work with our other students that are from out of town. We've had one young lady from Syracuse, graduated a couple of years ago. She went to a small Catholic school in Syracuse. Her senior class had 43 students in it. She came down here. She was our starting shortstop for 3 years. I mean, and then we have other students that come from a public school with 900 seniors in their class, and they come down. So it's a good mix like that. We always seem to have 1 or 2 young ladies from Long Island on the team. They just hear about Marywood. It's all about the majors, Dan, and you know this. We have some tremendous majors here at Marywood.
Yeah.
Nutrition, PA, speech pathology. I can go on and on. Architecture, obviously. And so some of the students from, a few hours away will just Google and they'll say architecture softball or D3 softball. And Marywood's one of the few schools that has it. And then you make that contact and then they come for a visit. You know this, but you come on our campus and they fall in love with the campus. It's just a beautiful place to be. And we just go from there. But yeah, we're basically New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. Although we have a few from Maryland. We have one probably coming from Ohio for this year coming up. So we are expanding a little bit on where we get our recruits. There's actually 2 from Illinois that are making a decision right now. They're actually sisters, twins, and that would be we'd be going a little further out than we have, but that would be awesome if they come. That's where we are right now.
Yeah, and the player that you're mentioning from a small Catholic high school, Bishop Ludden, the
Exactly.
high school, Syracuse, New York, the player Sarah Hayes, who wore number 12 for you. So
That's right.
really cool to see my hometown in full effect. And I know that my hometown is not connected to Marywood with just one sport. There's multiple sports. So it's good to see you in the state of New York. And it's, of course, good to shout out Sarah Hayes. So
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned her name. She's a great young lady. She's a nutrition major. She's actually working down, I believe, near Washington, D.C. right now. We also, on our schedule, we have Casanova and Elmira on our schedule. So we'll be traveling to Casanova for the first time this spring. They have come down and played us down at our place, but we're going up there this year. So again, you get out there, you start playing some of these teams up in that area. Somebody sees you play. Maybe there's some young ladies that watching the game. Marywood, where's and then you make those connections.
And it's an awesome thing. It's awesome to connect with you here today. And John, I appreciate all your kind words and everything that you've said. I'm very happy that we finally got to do this. I appreciate you being a part of this with me, John Butash. Once again, head softball coach, Marywood University. The Marywood University Pacers have exclusive content here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our multimedia marketing partnership. This has been another edition of Pacer Pride, spotlighting softball. John Butash, his story, Diana, and the entire team. Thank you, John, for spending the time with us. Thank you for all that you're doing. And thank you for having the love and having the passion for it. I'm very excited to come out and see the team this season, and I'm very much looking forward to everything that you'll do. And I'm very hopeful that as you talk about the CSAC of 2014, hopefully we could talk about the Atlantic East of 2022 and hopefully some good memories to come.
That's all. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for everything.
What's up, my good people? It's getting cold here, man, in the studios. Got to put on the Wake Up Call hoodie t-shirt, the hoodied, or I shouldn't say the hoodie t-shirt, the hoodied long sleeve shirt. So it's not a hoodie, it's a long sleeve shirt with a hood. So very comfortable, and obviously the new logo here that we have for Wake Up Call that we debuted during everything going on with the pandemic takes something that's been tough and turn it into a positive. The sun rising out of the coffee cup. This is the Wake Up Call logo, and this is the way. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for being a part of today's broadcast. Fantastic show inside the Cafe Kubal studios and Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. So Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com, thank you for all that you do. You can order from Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com anywhere in the country. It'll be delivered right to your doorstep. They tell you what's poppin', which is the list of topics for each show. We had the annoying moment of the week from Carvel DeWitt. We had Nate Champion speak on the NE10 upcoming tournament for men's basketball. They tip off tonight in Massachusetts on the road against Stonehill inside of the NE10. And we also remembered Matt Bassett, who passed on this week, who was the former athletics director at LeMoyne and whose vision and mission and good deed will always be remembered. So thank you, Matt, and to all your loved ones, especially everybody that's hurting today. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, talking about what's on the other side of fear with my co-host and sister, Miss Juanita Ward. Then we honored our top dogs of the week, a.k.a. Bobcats, for this week, presented by Canine Kamp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse, there for short and long-term care for your furry-loving friend. The top dogs of the week, Clay Gagan, Sherman women's basketball head coach, and Dan Frisina, men's basketball head coach of Bryant Stratton College in Syracuse for the Bobcats, who were both selected to be in the USCAA Division I tournament to have the opportunity to become national champions. Each of them. Massive day. I was there on selection show Thursday, and I will never forget that moment, and I hope that there's only plenty of those to come. I hope it's a yearly thing, so God bless to each and every single one of them. Thank you, gentlemen. And, of course, our Pacer Pride exclusive sit-down with John Butash, the softball head coach of Marywood University, bringing you our Pacer Pride content. So a lot of great stuff coming up for you and a lot of great stuff this week. It's been a jam-packed week of fun inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at their drive-through location and dine-in location at the Sweetheart Corners of North Syracuse, and, of course, 343 Fayette Street, where I was with Jason Leone this week at their double-decker giant behemoth of a brown stripe building that welcomes you into Manlius on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. So, let them know the Wake Up Call sent you. Head off to Cafe Kubal today and warm yourself up on this cold, wintry day. And I look forward to talking with you all soon. Thanks for being here with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT. Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. As well as on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. And on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage where the live feed is embedded. Of course, after the shows are live, you can check our archives for our shows that we put up there, and that is by searching Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or one word Wake Up Call DT on any one of these amazing outlets. You can bring yourself to connect with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Stitcher, TuneIn, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, and iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, and more. Once again, search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora or one word Wake Up Call DT. Big thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Honda City of Liverpool, PB&J's Lunchbox, where you can get my signature nachos today. And I'm heading out to PB&J's Lunchbox today, so I'm excited. Canine Kamp Dog Daycare, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Get your Ma and Pa's delivered to any one of the 50 states. Send it to a loved one at maandpaspopcorn.com. Canine Camp Ground Dog Boarding, the Millhouse Market, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Cicero, and Chick-fil-A Clay, and, of course, our proud multimedia marketing partnerships that we want to give a special thanks to each of those colleges and universities. Big shout out to LeMoyne College and Bob Beretta, Dr. Linda Lemura, and the entire team there. We get to tell the stories of the LeMoyne Dolphins all throughout the month. And, of course, every first and third Wednesday of each month at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, new episodes air of AD and DT featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And, of course, every second and fourth Wednesday, we have the Dolphin Dive, where we dive into stories of coaches, student athletes, staff members, as well as future Dolphins and alumni on our exclusive coverage of the LeMoyne Dolphins inside of the Dolphin Dive. So make sure you pay attention to those. We had a fantastic one with Frankie Delia and Mary Grimes this week. We had a double dose. And, of course, you can find all of our specials with LeMoyne by subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, as well as by finding us on the LeMoyne tab of WakeUpCallDT.com and get more information on the LeMoyne Dolphins by going to LeMoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Pacers of Marywood University. It's Pacer Pride. Every single Friday we have exclusive specials with the Marywood Pacers, and those air for you live between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Fridays on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. And, of course, you can find them by subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT. And you can get the archive by going to the Marywood tab on WakeUpCallDT.com. For John Butash and all of our incredible specials with student athletes, coaches, and Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, Pacer Pride is all month long, all throughout the year. And you can find it on Wake Up Call exclusively. And, of course, you can go to MarywoodPacers.com for more information. Bobcat Buzz every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Bobcats have had multiple episodes here. We got to share what it was like with Clay Gagan Sherman to be selected for the national tournament. That is your newest episode of Bobcat Buzz, coinciding with another new episode, and that being with Dan Frisina, the men's basketball head coach, on them being selected to the national tournament. And our inaugural episode of the Bobcat Buzz, a roundtable discussion with AD and women's soccer head coach and national champion Nick Dmitrievsky, assistant AD and women's soccer head coach and national champion Alex Gregorita, women's basketball head coach Clay Gagan Sherman, men's basketball head coach Dan Frisina, and upcoming baseball at Bryant Stratton College in Syracuse, their head coach Sean Peak, all sat with me in a roundtable discussion to usher in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Bryant Stratton College Syracuse Bobcats. You can check out that episode by going to BSCSYR page on wakeupcalldt.com. You can also find it by subscribing to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And of course, those new episodes, Clay Gagan Sherman and Dan Frisina on their teams being selected to be in the national tournament in the USCAA for small colleges Division I with the opportunity to win a championship. You can check out those videos on our social media at wakeupcalldt on Facebook, at calldt on Twitter, and at wakeupcall_DT on Instagram. You can also find them on the youtube.com/wakeupcalldt channel, so make sure you check that out today. With that being said, once again, find us on the social medias at wakeupcalldt on Facebook, at calldt on Twitter, at wakeupcall_DT on Instagram, and make sure that you're with us on YouTube today at noon Eastern Time for a fantastic story of how God aided someone to get out of the darkness and into the light. This story of the light between us is incredible. We do stories with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay team members every month, exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. We call it The Light Between Us. This story is so unique, so incredibly beautiful in how it pulls on your heartstrings and shows that God can reach out into the deepest, darkest moments and bring us his great light. The story of Ariel comes up at noon today on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Make sure you're watching. And of course, God bless, no stress. Do your best. From the Cafe Kubal Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. God is great to the people of Ukraine and to the world. May we all love each other, and may we all be there for each other. Because when one of us suffers, all of us suffers. And no child should ever be left in the dark alone. And God never does, and we can't either. Please be good.